Welcome back, viewer, to Chungu cha Jamii. Today we are talking about marriage in Africa and unpacking the dark side of it. What is the dark side of marriage that you've been able to see and experience? Send in your question, your sentiments across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. So before we went on a break, Mr. James, we were talking about how the girl child has been empowered and how the men were left behind. From me, I say that men are lazy, so to speak. Not all, but some. But again, there's this Swahili saying that inasema nazi moja mbovu harabu ya mzima, right?
Sure.
So if that's the case, we're having the small issues that are affecting the marriage today that is making it to be something so big and that is making it that like we said in the introduction, that marriage is a good thing.
Yeah.
And everyone should look into marriage. But with these things happening today, it is making a lot of people, not only women, but also men, think that marriage is very wanting. There is a lot of dotting when it comes to marriage and its institution. So you say that we need to empower our men as a society. Again, men are very egotistic, especially the African men. Compared to the westernization, the westernized men per se are so open-minded and are ready to adjust to the changes. You know, when you're looking at it rationally, the westernized men. But when it comes to the African tradition men are so difficult. How are we able to help someone who is so difficult and doesn't see the need of the help?
They say that you cannot teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
Your typical 70-year-old man, 65-year-old man is a man whose mind you cannot start changing now. However, there is hope. Hope because we have men who are out here trying to empower the boy child. So for us to succeed, the root is the family setup. How are we teaching the boy to be a man, and how are we teaching the girl to be a woman? So parenting plays a very important role. Even before the child goes to school and they're exposed now to all these other things that are offered by the syllabus and the curriculum, what are you doing as a father at home to be a role model to your child? But the other thing is, and the danger we are facing now is, you cannot give what you don't have. So as a man, if you've never been taught how to be a man, never been trained how to be a man, it becomes difficult to pass on the baton to your son and let him know that this is what manhood or being a man is. So there's need for parents to be empowered, and I'm glad that I'm part of different forums where men are actually empowered in churches, and you're taught how to be a man and how to play your rightful role as a man, and also in terms of parenting. As a man, personally, I'm playing my little role. For example, I'm working together with a group of men organizing what we call the Najijua Teens Camp, which we do every November and December. And this holiday, we are doing it from 5th to 9th of November in Naivasha. We have a camp there, and we shall be teaching boys, the teenagers, what it means to be a man in the modern society, and how to treat a lady as they grow up into men. And we'll be teaching the ladies also, together with the ladies who will be there, how to actually grow into a woman who can be supportive and a helper to the modern man. So there is need for everybody to play a role in ensuring the gender equity that I was referring to in the first part of the show. Because that equity will only come if we have an empowered lady and we have an empowered man. When the two mate, we are sure to have very good relationships between men and women. But when the two compete, that's when we see all the dark sides that we see. We hear of phrases which were originally meant for good but being abused nowadays. Phrases like, what a man can do, a woman can do better. And we've seen women cheat more now, even in marriage, than men. And actually, if you look at the statistics of unfaithfulness, more women right now who are married are cheating than their male counterparts. And why is that? Because of this saying that what a man can do, a woman can do better. So we have women who think whatever a man can do, if a man can cheat,
but that's
I
what
twice.
you guys are typically teaching us. It's monkey do, monkey say, monkey do. Because if we are seeing men cheat in marriage, that is that as a result. Like we've had people saying that I've seen my parents or my dad cheat. I've seen my uncle cheat to my aunt. Like it's through these traumas that people have gone through growing up, or through these fights that people have seen, the infidelity, the cheating and everything that you're talking about, that they have seen growing up, that right now they are doing it as their, so to speak, their defense mechanism.
But you see, in as much as that may be the excuse for why women might cheat in marriage, the fact is that two wrongs don't make a right.
True.
So just because men or some men cheat, let me not say men, because I'll be propagating that that negative agenda that men cheat. Men don't cheat. Let's begin there. Men don't cheat.
What do they do?
People cheat. Okay? So we have men who cheat. We have women who cheat. We have men who don't cheat. We have women who don't cheat.
True.
So the truth is, people cheat. A cheat is a cheat. A liar is a liar. An unfaithful person is an unfaithful person, whether they are man or women. So cheating has no gender. Let's demystify that.
Makes sense.
All right?
Makes
Cheating
sense.
has no gender.
True.
And so that's part of the thing that I'm talking about when I say we are propagating a society where we are painting the men black and the women white, and then we cause a rift between the two. And so when we do that, marriages can't work in such a society. We just have to call a spade a spade. A cheat is a cheat, whether a man or a woman. A murderer is a murderer, whether a man or a woman. An abusive partner is just an abusive partner, because we have women who beat their men. We have women who verbally and emotionally abuse their men, some leading them even to suicide. So these things happen and they have no gender. So let's not perpetrate men as the only, or paint men as the only perpetrators of violence, or of cheating, or of every dark thing that happens in a relationship or a marriage for that matter. We have women who have destroyed men in marriages. And that's why sometimes we tell men that your success as a man depends on the quality of woman you marry. If you marry a woman who will bring you stress, a woman who will cause you heartache, you're not going far in life. Whatever vision you have will be blurred by the pain that will be caused by this woman. So choose right when you're choosing marriage partner. And that goes for women too. Marry somebody who is whole, somebody who is healed. Truth be told, like you said, we have had men who have grown up under trauma. We have had women who have grown up under trauma. And so these are the same men and women who are choosing life partners to live with. But they're choosing people with those traumas. They're not healed. They've not overcome the pain that they grew up with. And sometimes the things or the dark side that we see in marriage right now is because of these traumas that people are coming into marriage with, without first of all seeking counseling and seeking help to overcome that pain before they come into this marriage. So we have women who are abusive simply because their fathers were abusive. So they've lost trust in men, probably because they were probably even sexually abused by a male figure in their early childhood. So when they get to that age where they're getting married, they see men all in the same lens of an abusive person, somebody who's violent, somebody who doesn't love me truly and doesn't care. Okay? So if they come into the relationship with that lens, no matter what this young gentleman does, he'll always be looked at by those dark lenses. Same to men. There are men who have been let down by the men in their lives as they were growing up as boys, and by the women in their life as they were growing up. So they come into marriage with pain, with heartache, and they've not healed. So they perpetrate the same things they saw, or some say, I'll not be like my father. And when a man says, I'll not be like my father, he either means one of two things. Number one, either the father was such a bad man, a wicked man, or the father did some wrong things that the man says, I'll not be like my father. Or the father was such a gentleman, such a good man, but he was taken advantage of by the woman he married, in terms of violence, in terms of abuse, in terms of blackmail. And so the boy grows saying, I'll not be as foolish as my father. And so you end up with a boy who is very hardened, a man who is very hardened against women. And this is the same man marrying a woman. So when the two meet, if they don't handle the traumas that they've gone through in life, chances are they will keep repeating the cycles that they're trying to avoid in the name of trying to be better than my father or better than my mother. So it's important for people to actually take a self-evaluation before they get into marriage. Otherwise, they make it a very dark institution. Yet it's meant to be a very blissful union and relationship, for that matter.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes
Yes.
a lot of sense what you've just said. Moving on, I want us to look into the same marriage from the context of mental health.
Yes.
Right now, we are having a lot of mental crisis, mental issues, and they are also affecting our marriages today. And you'll find that with what you've just said about the traumas, about how the environment that we've been brought up to, the expectations, the empowerment, like you've mentioned, with ladies being more empowered than men and men not being ready to handle such kind of women, it's not only overwhelming, but also the expectations, when they are too much, brings a lot of pressure that leads to the mental awareness and mental issues.
Sure.
So how do we curb the mental issues and the mental states when it comes to our marriages today? And for us also to be able to curb the dark side of it, because when we now start talking about the mental issues that are affecting the marriages, then we are also prone to see the dark side and the ugly side of marriage, and we end up not seeing the blissful side of it.
Sure. There's actually a need for us to handle the issue of mental health very carefully. And this does not start just at the home front, but I'm one of those people who advocate for proper mental health education, even in our educational institutions. It's important because I've gone to schools and I've seen girls, I've seen boys who are traumatized by what they experience from their homes. Most of the ills we actually see in our schools, the burning of schools, the violence in schools, is actually as a result of the traumas that these children have gone through in their own homes. So educational institutions, for example, need to create time in their programs and their routines for actually just taking care of the mental health, offering proper guidance, offering proper counseling for the teenagers and the children that go to these institutions. Also, there is need for people to have personal awareness. Personal awareness in the sense that knowing that where I've come from might affect where I'm going to. And to avoid that from happening, especially in regard to repeating cycles of violence, repeating cycles of abuse in relationship, it's important for somebody to evaluate themselves and say, how did I grow up? What kind of parents did I have? What kind of father did I have or not have, for that matter? What kind of mother did I have or not have? And because of that, since that might actually affect my perception of men or my perception of women, what can I actually do to empower myself, to help myself to heal and be better than I have been or than my parents were? Take counseling seriously. Number one, personal counseling. So counseling is not for mad people. I always say counseling is not for sick people. Counseling is for people who want to be better than they are, people who have goals that they need to achieve in life, whether in relationship, whether in career, or in every aspect of life. They just want to be better. So you seek counseling. And counseling helps you to see yourself from another person's perspective, another person's view, and helps you to see what we call the blind spots in your life, weaknesses that you have, that you didn't know you have, and how to overcome them. Once you develop yourself as an individual, at individual level, then you make yourself a better partner. There's so many people right now who are going about life looking for the right partner. But actually the secret is not looking for the right partner. The secret is in being the right partner, making yourself the right partner. So that's why I'm advocating for personal growth first. Before you think of getting somebody else, dating somebody, develop yourself first, heal from all your traumas first, so that you don't end up breaking somebody's heart or hurting somebody else, because we believe, and I believe, that for whatever reason, hurting people hurt others. Some people have been traumatized in the past, and so they end up bleeding on others. So they were hurt by others, but then you end up bleeding on your partner. And that makes your relationship sour, bitter, and very toxic. So to avoid bringing that toxicity in a supposedly good relationship, it's important for people to heal first, seek healing, seek counseling, be better, grow yourself. If you're a woman, instead of saying men are mean or selfish, find a job. Get your own source of income so that you don't depend on a man for financial support. And again, let's predefine what the role of a man is in terms of providing for you, especially in the dating phase. Because I hear so many young girls now who are dating saying men are selfish, men can't provide. But what they don't know is we're also dealing with a generation of men who believe that I'm your boyfriend and not your father. So I can't play a father role to you. I want to find a man who will fit the shoes of their father.
Allow me to interrupt you. I hope you're learning as much as I am. Let's take a quick break.